Hi guys, I couldn't be bothered to wear any makeup today for this video, so let's get on with it. So meet and greets, what are they exactly? Well, this is when a fan has a chance to meet their favourite band or their favourite actor. And, whatever, singer, it doesn't matter. Now they can be at various different venues. They can be, for example, at a shop or at a convention, maybe, or even before or after a gig. They could be set up by a promoter. For example, you might have some particular company that is sponsoring, say, a set of shows that a band are doing. They may want, as part of that contract, to get the band to do some meet and greets on their behalf. So they may have contracted the band to do that. We'll sponsor you as long as you do this promotional work for us. Fair enough. It might be the band's choice to do a meet and greet, and this can be free. Some bands decide to do it for nothing, but some bands might choose to charge for it, and this could range from something like a £5 right the way up to, well, sky's the limit. Now, some can also be for a charitable donation. They might say, okay, we're affiliated with this charity, if you want to meet us, make a donation to our charity, we'll give you a wristband in return, you can come and see us. And I think that's pretty fair, actually, that's okay. The problem comes when the bands see it as a business and the prices start to become, quite frankly, extortionate. So earlier this year it was reported that Justin Bieber turned up really late for a show, and a lot of people had taken their young kids along and they had to leave because of how late he'd shown up. Part of this was also a meet and greet, and there was a case actually of one angry person who had paid £330 for them and their daughter to go and meet Justin Bieber because he was so late. Now this is in the UK. Okay. Now, because he was so late, they ended up with something like 20 seconds with him. That was it. A whole 20 seconds just to see Justin Bieber. It's not just pop stars that do this, though. Let's not try and categorise this in one genre. It's also rock bands that can do this as well. For example, recently, 30 Seconds to Mars were charging their American fans the equivalent of up to around £575 just to do a certain meet and greet package. Now, Enter Shikari frontman Rue Reynolds is an absolute legend, and he actually called them out on this in a blog and on his Twitter feed, and said that actually this was completely unacceptable and that no band should ever do this. Also, sort of from personal experience as well, I went to the Kerrang tour this year, back in February, and it turns out there that Black Veil Brides were actually charging people over £90 to do a meet and greet with them. Now when you compare this to some of the other bands that were on the bill, this is ridiculous, because the other bands on the bill were doing exactly the same thing, but completely free. In fact, it was horrendously busy, and that was really great to see that so many people had turned out to see these bands, and meet them for nothing. And at one point I was talking to Lawrence Beveridge from Fearless Vampire Killers, and he said something that actually sort of struck me as very odd at the time. This is before I knew about Black Veil Brides charging. He said that on top of that, Black Veil Brides, the reason why the bands were having to do their meet and greets before Black Veil Brides went on stage is because Black Veil Brides actually wanted the other bands not just away from the stage, they wanted them out of the venue, or they would refuse to play. That is true. So, that's a totally different issue, but that kind of throws into relief the different attitudes of various bands. I think probably best to leave it with Biffy Clyro. This comes from NME. They said that bands charging fans to meet them was utterly appalling. Okay, so in my opinion, I think that bands charging fans to meet them is completely wrong. I'm quite lucky. I'm a Fearless Vampire Killers fan, Deadly Waiting fan, Ashes to Angels, and it shows these bands make themselves available because they genuinely see the fans as important. It's the fans that have put them where they are, and they respect that, so they are perfectly, willing, and they totally understand that as part of what they do in the show, it's not just getting up on stage and performing and then sort of disappearing off into the night. It's a case of also hanging around a little bit afterwards, having a few photos taken, having a little bit of a natter with some of the fans, because that's what kind of adds to the experience for them. And they will do this for nothing, because they see it as just part of what they do. Some bands, you know, they see it as business. And, of course, every band needs to make money. I mean, it's the only way any band is ever going to survive. If it's not financially viable, there's no point in doing it. You can spend so much money and, you know, lose so much money being in a band. Of course, I respect that. And I think the ones that charge would argue, well, it's up to the fans whether or not they want to pay. We give them the opportunity, we tell them what's available, and we tell them the price, and then it's up to them if they want to pay it or not. And there are enough people that do want to pay it. But I think the bands that do it for free, you know, it gives the fans that sort of closer connection to the bands, makes it a more personal thing. And I think that because they feel closer to various band members or whatever, they're more likely to go out and then buy tickets and buy merch all the time. Because they sort of think, well, I feel close to this band and I want to financially support them. And let me put it this way. Say your best friend is out and about and they're in their local supermarket and they bump into your favourite band. They're their favourite band and they're your favourite band. They've met them for nothing. They've had their photo taken with them. They've got a few autographs. Maybe they've got their shopping list signed. I don't know. Then later on that night, you have paid, say, 200 quid to go and see that band. You're going to have your photo taken with them. You're going to get something signed, maybe a ticket. Wouldn't you feel a little bit miffed that your friend had seen them for nothing? Okay, I'm going to do something that I've never actually done before. I'm going to actually quote some of the things that you guys have said to me on Twitter, because since announcing that I was going to do this video, I've actually had a really interesting response from you guys. So just pulled out 3 of you that have actually responded and really given me some quite well thought out arguments and things like that. So I just want to sort of credit you with some of these ideas, because I've got to admit it did help to influence some of the things that I was going to say, because I sort of knew what I meant to say, but you know, it wasn't quite there ready to come out. So actually I want to thank you guys for, you know, being part of this today. So I'm sorry if I don't pronounce any of your usernames or anything like that correctly, but I'll spell them correctly here or something. And what I would encourage is for people to go follow you guys, because you guys are awesome. So first of all, Panda FVK, nice easy one, or Kim with the little fangs and everything, which is awesome, said, you know, pointed out with 30 Seconds to Mars again, said 30 Seconds, sorry, I'm reading this from my pad down here. 30 Seconds to Mars ones for their tour soon are £200. They're one of my favourites, but there's no way I'm paying so much. She also goes on to say, yep, they need to take a moment to think about the fans that don't have that sort of money, and said, I wish other bands would see that and at least drop their prices, if not make them free. They should do what Pulp do with free wristbands. First come, first served. Absolutely. Not everyone can see a big band, so first come, first served is, you know, completely and utterly fair. You know, you snooze, you lose, but no one will lose any money. TamCal4, or Tammy G, said, totally agree. Don't do them if you don't want to meet real fans. I mean, this is so true. I mean, only those with money will be able to go and do these meet and greets, and they'd basically just be showing off. Whereas you might have a poorer, like, really hardcore fan who just can't afford and will miss out. And then there's Tuesday KX, or Amy Pie. I love that name, by the way. Said, totally agree. Either meet fans or don't. And also said, you know, also from the fan side, you'd be paying somebody to pretend to want to spend time with you. It would just feel fake. I know exactly what you mean. It sounds so grimy when you sort of look at it that way, sort of paying for somebody's attention. And of course, when you look at it, it actually is. So I want to go back to Panda FVK for this last one, Kim, who's said, we've decided they need to listen to their fans more. Absolutely right. Bands need to actually listen to their fans and listen to what they want. It's the fans that put them where they are, after all. So yeah, I'm lucky being a fan of FVK and the Deadly Waiting and the like, because they do their free meet and greets because they know how important the fans are. It's the fans that put them where they are, and they know they'd be nothing without them. So keep the fans sweet. The fans will buy the merch, they'll buy the records, and they'll come to the shows, and that's what it's all about. You know, if you're a fan of maybe a bigger band though, like 30 Seconds to Mars or something like that, what's your opinion on that? I mean, under what circumstances would you pay to meet your favourite band? And, you know, what sort of limit would you set on that? What sort of price would you pay? If you want, you can leave something in the comments below, or you can even tweet me. I'll put my username here. Yeah, what do you think? Is it ever acceptable to pay to meet your favourite band?